Hi guys! In this tutorial I want to show you how you set up head tracking with your Phantom. What you basically need is obviously your Phantom with a gimbal. I have here the Zenmuse gimbal attached to a GoPro. Then you need a radio. I have here the Futaba T14SG paired to the Phantom. And you need goggles with a head tracker. I have here the Dominator HD, which comes fortunately with a head tracker included. So it's a Trinity Headtracker, which works very precisely. And last but not least, you need a cable which connects your goggles to your radio. And for that, you need a radio with a trainer functionality. So what you basically want to do is you want to remote control your radio with the signals from your head tracker. Unfortunately, the Dominator HD doesn't come with a head tracker cable, but I use here the one which was included in my first Dominator. This setup here works very well for me. If you have other radios, goggles, quadcopters, then you have to look a little bit in the internet. I put a link down in the description to the FPV forum where you get a lot of help of other people's where they soldered their own cable and use other remotes and how to program that. But in this tutorial I want to go with this configuration here. This tutorial is divided in 3 parts. First we set up the goggles, then we will set up the radio, connect the goggles and the radio, and in the last part we will do a little bit software configuration on the gimbal. So let's get started and program the head tracker and the goggles. The Dominators have a head tracker button on the right side marked with HT. And this has basically 2 functions. One is to activate the head tracker, and the second is to activate programming of the head tracker. And this is what we will have to do now. So what is complicated in this head tracker configuration is that it's an audio only interface. So there's no display. You have to really listen to the beep tones, which are basically showing you where you are in the menu. And then press the button again to activate that menu item. Here we have the menu of the head tracker, which comes from the Fatshark help site. I put a link down in the description to that. When you're in the head tracker menu, you have 1 short beep for first menu item, 2 short beeps for the second, 3 for the third, and so on and so forth, and later on longer beeps and mixtures of that. But we have to concentrate now for setting the panning and tilt to channel 5 and 8. So this would be menu position 3, which is 3 short beeps. So the menu of the Trinity Headtracker looks a little bit more complicated because Fatshark has introduced here submenus. So for instance, the first submenu you find after 3 short beeps. There come 1 short to 6 short beeps, and then you're going out to the next menu item. We want now to program the panning and tilting to channel 5 and 8 so that the head tracker sends signals on channel 5 if you pan the goggles and send signals on channel 8 when you tilt the goggles. To do that, you have to go into the first submenu. So wait for 3 beeps, press the head tracker button once, and then you're in the submenu, and then wait for another 3 beeps to program panning and tilting to channel 5 and 8. So now we're trying to program the channels to 5 and 8. So we have to power on the goggles with the head tracker button enabled. And then you have to listen carefully to the beep tones. might be also important for you is when your gimbal is not moving in the right direction, then you can reverse here in menu item 4 the panning or the tilting direction of your head tracker so that you correct that. It's also possible to do that in the radio, but yeah, it's up to you if you want to correct that here or in the radio. Now we want to disable the panic mode or the disengage mode or the auto pause mode, how Fatshark calls it now. So in the menu we have to wait for the second 3 short beep signal. That was fun, wasn't it? I think an display would really make sense here to show you the menu. Now we want to connect the trainer cable to the radio. On the back side there is a protected port with a 6-pin connector, which is a perfect fit for the trainer cable. And on the other side we have video cable connector, I would say. This is a little bit fiddly to get into the goggles, so you have to really be careful not to bend some of the pins or something, but when it's in, it's quite fit. Now we're setting up the trainer mode in the radio so that we're mixing the head tracker channels onto the flight controller channels. So we're going into trainer mode, and basically we have to mix the channel 5, which is coming from the head tracker, onto the rudder. We mix it so that we can still use the sticks to control it, and we mix it to 75%, which works for me fine, but you can adapt this to your preferences. And we also have to mix the channel 8 to 100% to the gimbal control. Now we set up a switch to activate the trainer mode. I use here the SC switch, which has 3 positions, and I use only the last one. And I use this one because it has a long stick, which I can easily find when I have the goggles on. And I use only here the last position, so you cannot accidentally activate that. It has really switched in 2 times to activate the trainer mode. And as you can see now, in the last position, the action for the trainer is on. It's also important that you set the 8-channel mode, because the head tracker is only able to send the 8 channels. And now we can test finally the trainer mode. So switching it on, but the head tracker isn't activated. So press and level the goggles and hold the head tracker button for a second or so. And then you see it starts sending signal for tilt on channel 5 and for panning on channel 4. So and now, because we have mixed the channels, we can still use our sticks to move rudder, and also the knob to tilt the camera gimbal finally. So we can use both when we want. That's quite nice. And now we are configuring the gimbal control to lower actually the gain for the tilt control, so that we have really a smooth operation over the tilt of the camera. So, and finally we can test the entire configuration here. So you see when I move up the goggles, the GoPro's moving up and also down. And because we have switched off the panic mode, there is no limit in which we can look down. The panic mode usually then disable the head tracking when you go too far down or too far up. This is a safety feature, but usually I don't need that because I have the switch to disable the trainer mode. When we're increasing the tilt gain control again to a higher value, then yeah, the camera movement is more agile and follows our head very quickly, which is yeah maybe good for have some fun in the field, but for filming it's quite difficult because you have to hold your head still. Otherwise, you would get a nervous camera movement and not the perfect footage. So try what works for you best here, guys. Thanks for watching and see you next time.